Autonomy is going to be fast. It's going to cost substantially. Things are going to be fresher. It's a greener way to do it. You're taking vehicles off the road. There's a whole domino effect. We did a study that says for every 1% of deliveries that go to an arrive point, we take 3,000 trucks off the road in the U.S. So it's a huge opportunity. We're a spoiled consumer. We want everything now. We want it as little priced as we can get it. Commerce always takes the path of least resistance, and that's what we're unlocking here at Arrive.
Hello and welcome to another special episode of the Boss's Code. Today, in conversation with Arrive AI's CEO Dan Toole, we are going to discuss how logistics as a sector is slowly getting disrupted by AI. Dan, welcome to the Boss's Code.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me, Dan O'Toole, and thanks to your viewers and subscribers. Appreciate the opportunity to introduce Arrive AI to you guys.
Thanks. So, Dan, let's quickly jump into the point one. What's the problem you're really solving in the logistics sector?
Sure. At the broadest, simplest level, think about Mailbox 2.0, autonomous delivery, autonomous pickup, handoffs from robots, drones, unmanned vehicles. This is all set to happen. It's not going to scale when you're dropping things off on the ground. It's not going to scale when you're picking things up from the ground. You need a safe, secure access point, or cross dock, as we call it, in that ecosystem, and that's us. When autonomous drone delivery was just being thought about back around 2014, no one was thinking about the opportunity to pick up and drop off. They were thinking about just landing or dropping items, and that's a non-starter. So I had the idea for the brand new mailbox, and then I thought, if you have the brand new mailbox, how could you make it the best ever? What would you want to see in it? And I thought about things like a heated and cooled cargo area, a charging station for EVs. We could do battery swapping. We can measure and weigh items for shipping inside of our box. We have an emergency light feature, reverse logistics, safety, security, notifications, video, on and on. I ran and filed my first patent immediately because I knew I was in a race, and it turns out I beat Amazon by 4 days on my first patent. I beat the U.S. Postal Service by 2 weeks and others by less than a month. So I won that race. That gave me the impetus to move forward very aggressively. Today we have a total of 93 patents worldwide, either applied for or already awarded. It's a very robust, comprehensive patent portfolio that we have. 200 patent claims either filed for or already awarded.
So when you talk about these asynchronous autonomous systems, what is the sort of on the ground use case? Where do businesses use it, and how does this really work in real?
We think that it's going to work everywhere, not just in businesses. There's 165 million addresses in the U.S. That number grows by 4,000 new addresses every single day. The beauty about what we're dealing with is 91% of all deliveries are 5 pounds or less, which means that transcends every use case. It allows you to go in and really scale into a density of zip codes. So it could be a residential use case, it could be business, medical, pharmaceutical, all these different things, because you have the scale with that kind of density, with so many packages being delivered every single day. It could be Amazon, it could be the U.S. Mail, it could be the local pizza guy, whatever it is. We can heat and cool items, notifications, return logistics. It's coming, and we are working. Asynchronous is a big word. You mentioned that a couple seconds ago. We think that asynchronous delivery is going to unlock the last 50% of all the savings that are going to be gained with autonomous delivery. And what that means is you no longer have to be there. If a robot's making a delivery to you, you don't have to be there to meet the robot. If you're late, the robot's waiting. If the robot's late, you're waiting. Now with Arrive, the item could show up, be delivered autonomously, and everybody moves at their own cadence. Think about a drone dropping something into your arrive point, notifying a robot. A robot comes over and grabs it and brings it to you. And that's the future.
Could you explain the AI stack in the product that you're building?
AI is a big part of what we're doing. We are Arrive AI. We're an AI company first. We have our own developers on our team. We're not white labeling others. We think that's very important. We're using AI for streamlining scheduling, urgency, prioritization. We look at the world and want to be managing all deliveries, and we're working with a lot of carriers to have them share details with us, and we're able to right now in the world we're in today, everyone's just thinking myopically about their own deliveries, and people are trying to come up with like their own end-to-end solutions. Nobody's thinking about the macro, and nobody has the IP that we do to actually execute on that. So when you have a universal access point and arrive point, we are managing actively incoming shipments and deliveries from all of your vendors. Priority, urgency, route optimization, reverse logistics. If you have an item you want to send back, you'll be able to populate your recent purchases on our app. Pick the one you want to send back. It'll notify Amazon. It'll dispatch, maybe UPS. The item gets picked up. You drop it in your arrive point, picked up seamlessly. You don't print a label. You don't have to find a receipt. It goes back. Excuse me. You get your credit back. Those are the things we're solving for. It's a shipping store at your door. It's unmanned. It's all autonomous. Everything happens, 24/7.
Right. And you mentioned several dozen patents that you've already applied. For Arrive AI, which is the real moat? I mean, there are a lot of companies that are building autonomous systems right now. So, what do you consider as your moat?
Absolutely. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
We're not the drone, we're not the robot. We are the arrive point, and all of our IP is centered around that new mailbox. So when you have traditional lockers, mailboxes, things like that. When you add the element of autonomy to any of those, that's where our IP starts. So you don't see anybody out there doing what we're doing because no one has the IP that we do, the intellectual property patents. So that is our moat. We've got very strong IP. We've got the notion of embodiment. We build all of our new claims on our existing patents, so we're extending the product life cycle, and we've got a very good strategy for doing that. And that's why you don't see anybody else doing what we're doing.
So, is it fair to kind of compare the arrive points to the traditional letterboxes that used to be in street corners, where the envelopes used to get delivered and the postman comes, picks it up, and go? Is that a fair place to kind of say that's where you kind of drew your inspiration from?
Yeah, that's the genesis, right? But we just took it to the next level because we know that drones, robots, unmanned vehicles are going to be interacting in addition to mailmen and traditional carriers. But when you add that element of autonomy for pickup or drop off, that's our intellectual property, and we are the first to file on that back in 2014. And if anybody knows our company, we always say we beat Amazon by 4 days, Postal Service by 2 weeks, and others by less than a month. And that's vetted. We've got freedom to operate studies around that with major law firms, and we're not poking the bear without having the backup to say it, right?
Right. And you're still a startup, and your previous quarter earnings was $2.2 million, if I'm not wrong, was the loss. How do you see this, shrinking, or how do you manage to kind of bring it down? And what's your runway ahead? What do you look at for the future of AI?
Absolutely. What we're doing is very expensive, and that's why we had to get to the public market. We needed to leverage the public capital markets to execute on our IP. It's a race. We feel like we're in a winner-take-all market, and we can't let our foot off the accelerator for 1 second. If you let your foot off the accelerator and you reapply, you never get back to where you were. So we're running hard. We're running fast. We've actually, while we did lose $2 million in the last quarter, we had projected a $3 million loss. So we actually had a kind of a beat, if you will, on our loss, and that's great. We're planning on the losses, frankly. We're about 2 years out from neutral revenue, and that's what we planned on. What we're doing is not free. It's not cheap. It's big. and we're reconditioning a market. We're building a new infrastructure that's going to change the world, and you can't do it on the cheap. You got to hire the great people. You got to buy the right products. You got to build the right things. There's a lot of iteration. There's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of making units, deploying them, bringing them back in, re-implementing the new LOI and the new learnings. Or, I'm sorry, the new ROI is in our case is the earnings. I mean the learnings. You got me on the earnings there.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're doing a lot. We're moving fast. We've hired 40 new people in the last 2 months. We moved to a new headquarters to accommodate that growth. We're making big moves. If you look at the history of the company, we went public May 15th of this year, and we've done a lot. We're doing a lot. We're moving fast. I always say we're at the intersection of AI and autonomy. If those are two hot areas that you want to be involved in on a ground floor opportunity, that's us. We are not focused on revenues right now. I don't want to risk the company valuation by being so steadfast about holding up some de minimis earnings that becomes the guidepost of our valuation. What we're doing is very big. I want everybody to see the vision of what we're doing and how big it is. And I think we deserve an exception to that. Going public, pre-public, we had 5,000 investors. I'm proud of that. I think that shows the validation of what we're doing and how the market is accepting that people can see themselves using our product, and that's exciting.
So when you look at the general competition in the market, there are people, Google and Amazon, all these people are trying to build on their own autonomous systems. And one of the key differentiators is also when it's like, for instance, the very example of what's happening today with the call, when there's an issue with the cloud, there is a bit of a disruption in service. So how do you factor in these challenges into building autonomous systems that are largely dependent on the cloud for the services to, completely work from end to end?
You mentioned some big things there. One is we've got redundancy. We're working on cloud. We've got cellular backup. So we're taking all that into account. Nothing's ever perfect, right? You're going to have disruptions here and there. You can't help that. But what you can do is make it the best that you can to try to deal with everything that you know about. And that's what we're doing. You mentioned Google and some other large companies iterating in this space. We're excited about that. To me, that's quite validating. You have the trillion-dollar market cap companies, Google, Amazon, Walmart, others. They're all working in the same space. I look at the robots, drones, and unmanned vehicles kind of as the commodities. I look at what we're doing as the monopoly, that center of the delivery universe where every delivery starts and ends. That's Arrive. That's us. And, I couldn't be in a better place, frankly, to have a touch point on every delivery. The other thing is I see the market going. I mentioned earlier, I think it's a winner take all market. I think it's much like the Tesla charging standard, where you saw all the OEMs adopt one technology, the Tesla. I think that's us. We're agnostic. We don't have a dog in the fight where we're competing with Google, Amazon, Walmart, and those guys. We're a platform that everybody can use. All the users are going to want to love all the information that we provide, and just the perceived value of what we're doing is going to be extremely high. We are much like an Amazon Prime model. It's a recurring revenue subscription model. You don't have to buy one of our units. You simply subscribe to it. Our goal is to deliver a very high perceived value so that you feel like you're almost getting paid to use our product. And, that's where we want to be.
You're also in your earnings, you also mentioned about you're making expansions in India, for instance, Sky Air and autonomy. Do you want to speak about, what these partnerships mean? What sort of support does Arrive provide, and what do your partners provide? How does it build on each other?
Absolutely. We're holding up this whole notion of asynchronous delivery and handoffs between drones, robots, and people. We want to reduce the friction between drones, robots, and people. We think that is unlocking the future. So, autonomy, they have a ground robot, an excellent product, the only one on the market that can transition between indoors and outdoors, which is really important for us. A lot of times an arrive point to be able to access a drone delivered item has to be outside, right? So if you get something outside in it, you want it to end up inside. How do you do that? You work with a great company like Autonomy to pick that item up outside and bring it inside. Get into an elevator, perhaps go up to a lab in a hospital. It could be anything. Sky Air, one of the largest actual executing drone delivery companies in the world today, based out of India. They see the vision. They actually stated to us that what we're doing is the most important part of the whole autonomous ecosystem. That was quite humbling and flattering and validating to me, because somebody that's doing a different part of that ecosystem may not want to volunteer that. But I think that shows how important we are to unlocking the value for everybody, and the fact that they recognize it. That's the kind of partner that we want to deal with, right?
So I just wanted to, could you broaden the idea of this partnership between autonomy and Skyair? So one is the drone delivery sort of a platform provider, and the other is a on the ground robotic service provider. So these two, along with Arrive, actually make an ecosystem in terms of how autonomous delivery happens. Is that how the partnership is looking? Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. We want to hold up we want to showcase to the world this idea of asynchronous autonomous delivery, right? So, no longer, if you have an iPhone or a computer come into your house, you have to take the day off work, or you have to be there to sign for it. You have to watch it on your camera, whatever it is. You know what? Peace of mind. You have an arrive point, right? So the item gets delivered, you get a notification, tells you exactly what you have. You can go about your day. You don't have to worry about chain of custody. And you can have a robot, an autonomy robot can actually pick up that item and deliver it to your house when you I mean, there's all kinds of things. Every autonomy customer can be an arrive customer. Every arrive customer can be an autonomy customer. And what we're finding is 1 + 1 = 3. When you add these technologies together, it holds up the whole ecosystem in a much bigger way. And people are all of a sudden are seeing all these new use cases that they never envisioned before, because of the asynchronous, opportunity. You don't have to bug, in a hospital setting, for instance. Everything could be just automated. A lab sample is generated. A notification sends out to the robot. The robot, on its own pace, goes over to the lab, grabs it, or to the cancer ward. Okay, it picks up the lab sample and then takes it to an arrive point in the lab area. So then when the person that's doing the lab sampling is ready for the next one, they go over there, we have a notification, they proceed over to the arrive point, and they get the lab sample out and start working on that. Everything happens methodically. There's no chain of custody issues. They know that it's secure and safe from end to end. It's all documented. And that's just one example. I mean, food delivery, heated and cooled cargo area. If you're late, if you're coming home from work, you want to order that pizza, that item could be waiting for you in your arrive point. You get a notification, the heat is turned on, you come home, you don't have to worry about, did a spider crawl into my pizza on the front porch, whatever happened, right? It's all safe and sound. Everything's great. This is going to change the world.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm just trying to, as you say this, I'm trying to look at it from a regular consumer use case. For instance, I make an order on Amazon to get a book or something delivered to me. And then what you're trying to say, I'm just trying to piece this together and say, in the future, maybe I'll have something like an arrive point sitting at the corner of my street. And then a delivery comes and then gets into that arrive point, and from there a drone delivery or a robotic delivery happens from there. Would that be a kind of a consumer level understanding on how these kind of systems will work together?
Absolutely. That's a great illustration of what could happen. You could have an arrive point at your individual house. There could be a multifamily in a neighborhood with different sorting mechanisms and things like that. We have several configurations envisioned on a roadmap. It could be a portable arrive point on the back of a commercial pickup truck. You have a couple guys painting at your house. They run out of roller covers and they need to go to Sherwin-Williams, right? Usually both of them leave, they're gone a couple hours and they're on your time and you're wondering where they are. Now they can seamlessly order those items. They could keep working. They get a notification. They got to their truck and a drone had just delivered a sleeve of roller covers. They grab those and continue to work. Think about the productivity we're going to unlock versus, people having to go off the clock or whatever, go leave for a couple hours. You know, that's not a good use of time, right? I always say better, faster, fresher, cheaper, greener, safer. Those are all the elements that we're going to deliver through autonomy. Autonomy is going to be fast. It's going to cost substantially. Things are going to be fresher. It's a greener way to do it. You're taking vehicles off the road. There's a whole domino effect. We did a study that says for every 1% of deliveries that go to an arrive point, we take 3,000 trucks off the road in the US. So it's a huge opportunity. You know, we're a or a spoiled consumer. We want everything now. We want it as little priced as we can get it. Commerce always takes the path of least resistance, and that's what we're unlocking here at Arrive.
Right. So, what's the one big challenge that you'll be solving next year for Arrive?
You know, the big challenge that we're going to be solving, everything I just mentioned, we're starting to deploy. We're looking to be in Dallas, which is kind of ground zero for autonomous delivery. We're looking to be in Dallas next year. And so we're looking to solve for I would say the asynchronous challenge. We're going to be connecting the islands of delivery that are going on out there right now. You know, in the future, you're not going to see three arrive points in front of one home or one business. You're not going to have an Amazon, a US Postal Service, and a Walmart arrive point. You're going to have one. It's got to be agnostic, universal, and working with everyone. That's the future. It's not your home or business littered with a bunch of arrival points, right? So that's what you're going to see. We have the ability to flex up and down. Got a great strategy for manufacturing. We're fans of Tesla and Elon Musk and how his vision that the best part is no part. Everything's modular, hot swapping items. If something's down, we can make a quick swap with a module and keep everything running. We're ahead of knowing when things are down through our own diagnostics. We can overnight update through the cloud. These are all things, we own every box. You just have to subscribe to it. So we're building these with a very high, life cycle. We're envisioning the lowest maintenance opportunities, all those kind of things. That's how we're starting with.
And what's your talent strategy for this? Do you have like a plan on what sort of talent you'll want to deploy next year?
Yeah, we know we're in the process of hiring. In the last 2 months, we went from 6, full-time W-2 employees to 46. So we're on a steep trajectory. We're hiring in all fields, mechanical engineers, AI engineers, informatics, electrical engineers, CAD, design engineer. We've got the whole gamut. We're hiring and then we've got the sales team we're building out. Really, the company has to widen and heighten, and we're doing that all at the same time. It's very aggressive, but it speaks to our first mover advantage and how we want to run.
On that note, Dan, thanks so much for your time. It's been a real pleasure connecting with you, getting to know about what's happening in the logistics space, how tech is being deployed, and got your patents and what's your moat, and how you're building partnerships with two other companies and how you're building an ecosystem on logistics. Thanks for your time, Dan.
Hey, John, thanks for having me. Thanks to all your viewers and subscribers. Really appreciate that. Dan O'Toole, Arrive AI, ticker ARAI on the NASDAQ. Check us out. John, really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome.